What is up, geeks and gamers? It's your boy Q
and QMG.
And once again, we are back like we never left to bring you guys the most awesome and epic podcast, which is Into the QUNIVERSE, where we talk to you about everything that is geeky, gamey, and nerdy. And so let me tell you guys about my wonderful, wonderful week. Man, guys, we got EVO in 1 week, the Ultimate Gaming Tournament. It is on its way. We got a lot to talk about it today, as well as more Marvel news, as well as a lot more what you guys want to hear. So like I always say, leave a like, leave a comment, and share the video if you like it. We always want to know what you guys have in store. We always want to know what you guys want to talk about. Yeah, last week I was feeling a little under the weather, if you could tell in the video. Wasn't feeling all too 100, but I'm back like I never left. Kumani, you want to give them a little shout out, let them know what you got going on?
Yeah, my week was pretty up and down. Had some family emergencies to attend to. But other than that, you know, can't complain. Every day I get to wake up, breathe air, and live the best life I can live. That's all I can say. That's the gist of it. Just, you know, just branching out to new faces that I've met some cool new people in the world, and getting some stuff started, and, you know, just working hard on building this with you, making sure it's the best thing it can be. Shout outs to everybody who came through on the YouTube video. That was quite possibly in our short little run. That last YouTube video we posted about Comic-Con last week was, in all honesty, the fastest one to reach 10 views that we've done so far. So thank y'all for coming out in short order. We're glad to see that we are having a cultivated audience that are waiting to see our stuff and wanting to interact with us. We still are working on a lot of other projects that are going to be complimentary to this. So thank y'all for y'all continued support. Thank y'all for coming out. We love you guys.
Yes, definitely about you guys. You guys keep tuning in. So we just want to give a round of applause to you guys, because without y'all, we wouldn't be doing this. Y'all the real MVPs. So let's dive straight into it. EVO, like I said, EVO is next week. The Ultimate Gaming Tournament, the #1 gaming tournament, fighting game tournament of the year that comes out. We have a lot every year, but EVO is definitely the top dog, #1. And with that being said, we could just dive straight into it. It's been a little shaken up this past week because a game that is very controversial, as in terms of the FGC, the fighting game community, Super Smash Brothers, is announced to be the final game this year, and this will be the first time ever that this Smash game is the first final game at EVO. And between me and QMG, it's a lot of mixed reviews on how we feel about this. So I'm gonna let you start it off, Q, and then I'm gonna backhand and come back, and you could go ahead and give your opinion on how you feel about Smash being announced over all these other top tier fighting games that we have this year.
So about Smash main eventing EVO Evolution 2019, the WrestleMania World Series, NBA Finals, whatever you can complimentary give it to any other real life sports. This is what EVO is, and for Smash Brothers to main event it, whoo, that's a lot to unpack there. So I'll attempt to start. Smash Brothers, and we've discussed this previous podcasts, is a black sheep fighting game. It's something 100%. That while it'll always have a very large casual installed base that rivals the top tier fighting games such as Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, as far as competitiveness goes, the competitive side is very much more tight-knit, very much more so ingrained, not very much spreading out. It's the same faces you'll see in any particular tournament setup, whether it's large or local or anything like that. So for this game to be the main event of EVO, when Smash has always had such a let's call it unique relationship to the FGC.
Definitely unique.
Let's say that it's a very unique relationship to the FGC, the fighting game community. For those who don't know, it's something it's something that's very much. It's weird. It's weird because when the lineup for EVO was announced, the mainstay Smash Brothers game, Smash Brothers Melee, got retired in a sense. It's not on the main show. It'll be side tournaments, but as far as streaming and getting people to understand what are the main games of EVO, it is no longer a part of that. And EVO had this. The EVO people had this beautiful send-off video of all the hype moments for Melee and everything, and the response was very much, as I personally think, was pretty much pretentious and very much, whining in a sense. Smash Brothers Melee fan base and the competitive scene was very disgruntled.
Well, you gotta look at it. That Smash scene is even divided within itself, so that makes it a lot harder. But keep going, especially between the Melee and Ultimate community.
Yes.
Yeah, keep going.
But yes, it's very much. They were very disgruntled. They felt like they were, instead of being revered and being kept, they felt like they were getting dumped. Like they were getting dumped by their girlfriend in favor of a newer model. When, in my personal
and our boyfriend, we don't discriminate.
No, we do not. It was very off-putting to me because Smash Brothers Melee. To give it more context, the very first Smash Brothers game that was a part of the lineup of EVO was Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah.
This happened back in 2015. Am I right? If I'm correct. 2015 was the very first time a Smash Brothers game was on the main show, and there was a lot of controversy behind it because it was because of a charity drive that EVO does from time to time, where people can vote on what game they want to see at EVO that normally wouldn't be nominated, and all of the proceeds of the tournament would go towards a charity of the fan base's choosing.
Yeah.
And Melee won easily, but there was some controversy with Nintendo, and they were kind of unsure if they wanted this type of representation for their game, and they faced backlash because it was for charity. So they eventually relented, and Melee became a mainstay of EVO, and that began the rocky relationship. Q, you have anything to add?
The rocky relationship is definitely there. Not only do you have people who don't believe it's a traditional fighting game, which allows it to be kind of undermined in the same vein as other fighting games as far as like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, but as we've discussed before, the community itself has a lot to do with some of those transgressions toward the game itself. Now, not to stereotype all Smash players, because we play Smash as well. Not competitively, but we play it on a more casual level. But the stigma on the characteristics and stereotype of Smash players is that the community is very toxic, and they attack their own people almost. Now, of course, that's not true with every major Smash player, but it's been a lot of controversies during Smash and Smash tournaments. Not to dive too deep into the old stuff, but Mewtwo King's supposed scandal of slouching matches and throwing matches, as far as just recently to Hungry Box at a tournament he won. People threw a crab at him on stage. So
not to mention the recent controversy of 15-year-old female Smash player. She was one against I forget the name. Trust me, that's a very important name that I forgot. But he's also no stranger to controversy.
Armada?
No, it wasn't Armada. It was someone else. But she beat him. She got heavily harassed to the point where she thought about quitting Smash. And ironically enough, when the fan base rallied behind her, turns out she had a history of making a significantly large amount of racial slurs.
Always with the racism.
More particularly the N-word and the hard ER. And the pro she beat is a pedophile. Flatfoot, there's no way to dance around it.
Yeah.
He's a pedophile. He's a grown man dating a 15-year-old, and not just casually dating, even though that doesn't make a difference, but just the hard stuff too. But the Smash community has had its fair share of both real life and in-game competition controversies. Yes. And that has not to say, because Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter communities are no strangers to controversy. Marvel versus Capcom, none of those communities are strangers to controversies of that degree. But Smash tends to have it more exasperated because they tend to, rather than try to diffuse it, they kind of ride it till the wheels fall off.
And like I was saying, it doesn't make it any better that the community is already seen as not on the same level as these other fighting games, or is seen as not the same. So it almost accentuates what they do on a level where, oh, the Smash guys are doing something else, those faux fighting game people. But in reality, me personally, I feel like Smash is 100% a fighting game. It holds all the same weight. All the most of the mechanics are very much there. The mind games, the meta is all there. I'm 100% a believer that Smash is a fighting game. Let us know in the comments if you think Smash is a fighting game. Let us know in the comments if you feel like Smash should hit EVO. Now, back to that aspect, me personally, I don't feel like Smash should hit EVO. It's a lot better. It's a lot better fighting games out right now. Street Fighter's been doing it for a nice little minute, so I could see Street Fighter taking the back seat. But we have a very, very good fighting game out that's very interesting, that's getting a lot of traction, that has a lot of personalities that are playing it, and that is Tekken 7.
Yes.
And that is the one I believe should be actually heading, but it's actually taking the back seat as the game right before Smash. So it'll be likely we're gonna see something get announced for Smash. Like I was telling QMG, I actually believe that there was something done that maybe, we're gonna be announcing something for Smash, so it'll be best beneficial if we have this at the end as opposed to these other games.
Yes.
Now that's just my theory. But that's a theory. Again,
we're gonna get yammed up for sure. I'm 100% in agreement with everything you've said. Even though my reasoning for why I don't think Smash should main event might deviate a little bit from yours, virtually everything else you said, I'm in 100% agreement with. Tekken 7 has far and away been the MVP, in my opinion, for about 2 years now. I've always thought that Tekken 7 was right up there as the best fighting game of this current run of fighting games that are out. I've said that as far back as when it was first released on home consoles back in 2017, and that definitely hasn't changed. If anything, it's only improved as it's been updated and has gone on. The reason why I say Smash shouldn't main event is simply because when it comes to EVO, for some reason, the Smash community always shows their worst foot. They don't always, there may be small tourneys or Smash-specific tourneys where actual hype moments happen, but for some reason at EVO, in particular, we don't see that. Last year was a debacle as far as Smash was going. As far as Smash was concerned, Melee wasn't very interesting, and Smash 4, which was the new game that was out, was very much the low light of EVO because the top two players, Salem and I can't remember the name of the other one, but they were in the grand finals. Yeah. And for the entire run of Salem's run in the tournament scene, he was constantly booed and harassed. Yeah, and heckled simply because he was playing Bayonetta, who in that game was the best character in the game. Yes. And I've always said the major detriment to Smash is while other fighting games learn how to adapt whenever there's a clear-cut best character in a game, Smash resides to either complaining about the game or just flat foot doing everything in their power to make it unfun to watch the game because they try to do away with it. Yeah, you could even take that back to when Hungrybox was using Jigglypuff, who was at first seen to be a horrible character, but when he played the character to the best of his abilities and the character started winning, now everybody hates Jigglypuff and Jigglypuff is broken, and when it should be, this character has made this character good, but not only that, a lot of people also said that character was boring to watch. Yes. But it was just a different play style. But before we go any further, we got Jared.
What up, JB?
Smash is a fighting game, but it's not a fighting game like Tekken
and Street Fighter.
Yes, and that's we all agree on that. And just to go back to the situation with Salem, it got so bad where in the grand finals they just kind of gave up because their hearts weren't in it anymore because the fan base had turned because they were playing with two characters they were very good with and they were able to maximize the possibilities. People assume in Smash, and this is another thing that's always upset me, they always felt like whenever a character is picked that's top tier in Smash, they're brain dead to use. They're not. The only character that has been like that was Meta Knight and Braum. He was just flat out banned.
The beast.
He was flat out banned. Every other character that is good traditionally in a Smash Brothers game, you have to have a very good understanding of the meta, which is hard because, as we've stated before, Smash is a fighting game, but not in the traditional sense. And there's a lot of mechanics you have to kind of mold in your favor to maximize a character's potential. And long story short, the fan base, the Smash Brothers fan base, and the people watching it made a debacle of it. They booed grand finals.
That was crazy. I was very disappointed.
Me too. I was heavily disappointed. Disappointed wasn't a word for me. I was very pissed off at it. And Maximilian Dood, one of the most, if not the most,
shout out Maximilian Dood, man. Keep doing what you do.
Yeah, one of the most prolific fighting game personalities out there, put it best. He said in his heyday of playing in the competitive scene of fighting games, the most popular fighting game was Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. And Chun-Li was the Bayonetta of that game. She was clear and far ahead the best character. And he's had to sit through a lot of mirror matches with Chun-Li. And even though he hated watching the character, he respected the player's skill set and their way and their ability to make it there. So regardless of what they saw, they still applauded and cheered for the people because of their hard work. They didn't just piss and moan because it was a character that they couldn't beat, even though they probably in Smash games they never go outside of the meta that's already been pre-established or could be applied to it. So it is what it is.
Oh, let me go right back. JB, Jared Brady, shout out. Yes, Meta Knight was that guy. That's why he was banned in tournaments, because he was that guy. They banned that man so quick. Yes. They brought the ban hammer down so quick on that boy. The ban
straight out of the hammer, straight out of Area 51.
Yeah, straight out of Area 51. Got me on there out here. The ban hammer. We calling this the ban hammer.
Yeah, but that's why I don't believe Smash should be in the main event of EVO. Not because of the game, because in all honesty, Smash Ultimate is a very fun to watch game with a lot. It's arguably the best intentionally made Smash fighting game that's been out.
Because Melee was not made for competitive at all.
Yeah, the fan base kind of, like I said, molded it to be competitive, but but Smash Ultimate have mechanics that's made intentionally to be competitive. But I personally just don't think the Smash fan base deserves it. They haven't earned their stripes with respect, as far as respect and being kind and being humble. They haven't earned it. And yes, while he said this earlier, there might be a gargantuan announcement because Smash Brothers is second to none when it comes to announcements.
Arguably the best. Not arguably the best collection of guest characters ever in the fighting games history. Best character roster in the fighting game history, just period. The only one that probably rivals that is Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yeah, I would say in the Marvel vs. Capcom, Mortal Kombat, and Killer Instinct, and Soul Calibur. Those are if I have to make the top 5 rosters of fighting games, period. And
number 1 is Smash.
Yes. Shout outs to Kim Cams.
Hey, what up, hey? Shout out my boo. Appreciate you for tuning in.
But yes, it just hasn't deserved it. And yes, while we probably will get an amazing announcement character wise, Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, please.
Like I said, I'm doubting it, but y'all heard it first. He is calling Scorpion for Smash. Ed Boon has been tweeting some cryptic tweets probably about 2 months to a month back. Looking iffy, but I give it about 7 to 10% now.
Full Gore from Killer Instinct.
I see Full Gore too.
But yes, as far if the announcement wise might make it hype in that bubble, but overall I don't think it deserves it. I agree with Q. Tekken 7 should be the main event. Shout outs to the man Lil Majin, America's hero.
Shout out Lil Majin.
And he almost had it last year. I believe he will take it this year.
The greatest King player in the world.
Yeah, so that's me. That's just my opinion, and that's Q's opinion. So yeah, that's it. So anything more to add to the subject?
Just tune in to EVO. If you guys love fighting games, if you guys like watching fighting games, if you guys like studying fighting games, or if you just want to become better at fighting games, look at EVO. Watch some more fighting games that you might not normally watch. You guys just keep tuning in. It's a really good sport. It's a great growing sport. And with that, let's go. We'll be actually starting our own brother versus brother.
Yes,
we'll be playing some fighting games together.
Yes, I've been building this up and alluding to this over the past couple of podcasts, and I will be very much glad to tell you that in the immediate future, we haven't locked down a date just yet because our schedules are,
And we're gonna call it BVS, brother versus scrub.
Yes. I will be the brother,
scrub,
and he will be the scrub. So yes, we are doing it out here. We got a plethora of fighting games to play. We got a lot of salt. Trust me, there will be a lot of salt.
A lot of salt.
A lot of salt. A lot of skill, a lot of salt, and a lot of hype stuff. We got a plethora of games to start off with. I believe we're gonna, kick things off with a game that's on an equal playing field to give you guys the most exciting thing. So for the very first BVS, brother versus scrub, it'll be up to you to decide who's the brother and who's the scrub. We're kicking it off. We're rocking the dragon. Dragon Ball Fighters will be the very first game we play on BVS.
Shout out Jared once again. S versus S. I ain't even gonna say it. I know what that means. Scrub versus scrub. He's a scrub times 2, so you know what that means. How we gonna do? But with that being said, guys, once again, we appreciate you guys, the love and support. We're gonna keep bringing you guys content. You can always watch us also on YouTube. Every video will be edited and posted up on Monday, so you guys will go and watch that. Subscribe, like, comment. We're also on Facebook, which is my name, Quentin Ziegler. Facebook as well as Instagram, Into the QUNIVERSE, and at Quentin Ziegler. And also Quamon Star G.
Yes, at Quamon Star G. You can follow my personal Twitter account, and you can also follow the official Into the QUNIVERSE Twitter account at QUNIVERSE on Twitter. And you can follow me on Facebook if you want to. I really don't be on that.
And as well, Geeked Up Media on Facebook.
Bang bang. With the official Into the QUNIVERSE Facebook page coming soon as well. So that'll have
its own. Get all our content in one fell swoop.
Yes.
But with that being said, let's move forward back to Comic-Con that just passed, and a lot of Marvel stuff was announced.
Yes.
Now we're gonna move forward with that and talk about I guess I'll just start off with a topic. Well, what was the biggest one for me was Mahershala Ali being Blade, and great hands, feet.
I was trying to fix the equipment out of my hands,
feet. But starting off with the biggest thing, we got confirmation from the original Blade. But first, funny story. Tell me why my sister texted me. Yeah, I'm busting you out. Our sister texted me, and she gonna say, I didn't know Blade was a part of Marvel. Banhammer. And wham!
Well, in fairness to her, there was no Marvel, and this is a Marvel history lesson. This will more than likely be a recurring theme whenever Marvel brings up. When Blade first came out in theaters and was conceptualized, Marvel disavowed it. Marvel did not want to promote it as a property.
Because it was rated R.
Not just that, but because Blade came out a year after Batman and Robin. For those who don't know, Batman and Robin was the death rattle for the superhero movies that began with the Christopher Reeves 1975 Superman all the way up to Batman and Robin and everything in between. And that movie was essentially the death rattle for superhero movies at the time. And Marvel was at a state in its company where it was bankrupt comic book wise. It sold all of the rights to their most popular entities, Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, among others.
Going down.
They sold all of the movie rights off to studios. Movie rights. It's important that you remember that. Nothing else but the movie rights. And they were essentially in a very baddie-daddy position. So when I believe Guillermo del Toro directed the first Blade.
Shout out Guillermo.
I may be mistaken, but whenever the first Blade movie was conceptualized, the Marvel was not so sure on its success, or if it will even be a success, partially because of the R rating, also because Blade was very much an unknown commodity. I don't even believe he had a comic run at the time. So Marvel disavowed them. There was no promotional material. There isn't even any credits, I believe, in the initial run of Marvel actually having anything to do with the property. They just sent it out to be its own thing, and then it ended up being very successful and starting the new wave of the 90s gothic horror movies that would go on, like Interview with a Vampire, Queen of the Damned, Underworld. All of those things spawned from Blade, among also being the precursor to the modern age of superhero movies.
Shout out to all my black emos. When Blade come out, I know we're gonna be trench coat up. You already know what time it is.
No, bleed black and wearing a trench coat in a public place.
But I didn't finish my story. So after she said, I didn't know Blade was a part of Marvel. Then I told her, yeah, he's been part of Marvel forever since he's been conceptualized. Then she was like, and also, who was that guy who played him first? And I was like, bruh. Like, Wesley Snipes? You can't not know who Wesley Snipes is. That man's literally Blade. Well, but, you know, but with that being said, to go back to backhandle what I was saying, Wesley Snipes actually gave Mahershala Ali the okay. He gave him the okay, saying that it's time for a new Blade. It's time for a new Blade because a lot of how us fanboys are. Fanboys and fangirls. You already know. No discrimination. Fangers. Because
it's Blade and it's gamers and fangirls.
You remind me off of Jamie Foxx. Oh man, you got fang bang. But anyway, all the fangers. Sounds funny. All the fangers, we know that we kind of have our heart set on Wesley Snipes reprising his role, but we got a new guy, and he looks like Wesley Snipes actually, man. Black as a mother.
Mahershala Ali and Wesley Snipes look absolutely nothing alike. They're just
Mahershala Ali looks more akin to the comic book Blade, right?
You know, they just look like two separate dark-skinned black people.
Whoa, you saying they look alike?
No, I said they just look like two different dark-skinned black people.
That's crazy. Anyway, I think Mahershala Ali, now my major thing is his combat training. Combat training got to be on point. Wesley Snipes did his thing. One of my favorite scenes of all time, you already know, when that boy Blade comes out the blood in Blade 2.
Yes.
That man was kicking so much ass, it was ridiculous.
Yes. What I would like to add on to that is, yes, I agree with everything you said. I didn't know when Wesley Snipes gave his blessing, which is dope.
Yeah,
I'm
he
glad
did it on Twitter.
Yeah, because Wesley Snipes can be kind of combative with certain
Blade
situations.
Trinity.
yes. But I'm glad the story goes, and this is for what Mahershala and Kevin Feige, they both confirmed, is that after Mahershala won his Oscar for the Green Book, he called up Kevin and explicitly asked him to be Blade, and Kevin Feige said there was no way he was going to say, you can't say no to Mahershala Ali, which is true. You know, Mahershala Ali is one of the most acclaimed actors of this generation.
Yeah.
Regardless of race or gender, Mahershala Ali, put him in any role, he's going to absolutely destroy it. And getting him in Blade is a flat-foot slam dunk. It's Jordan from the free throw just dunking on any team that was stupid enough to get in his way at his prime. That's how much of a steal this is, and I'm personally looking forward to it.
I'm not going to lie. I still could saw Jamie Foxx playing the role as well. I did. Jamie Foxx is a A-tier actor. Come on now. So he's not.
There's no way I'm gonna take Blade seriously played by what's his name? I mean Jamie Foxx.
How not? You sound like the people who said Heath Ledger couldn't play the Joker.
I do, but that doesn't mean that's still my current opinion on the situation.
Shout out Jamie, man. I believe you could do it.
I mean, yes, Jamie Foxx has an Oscar to his name, has a Grammy to his name, has multiple serious, dramatic, comedic, musical titles to his name. But as far as it's just, maybe he would, because, you know, Jamie Foxx, you know.
He could do that Blade voice.
I believe so. I believe so. But it'll be hard to take him serious, because depending on the comic writer, someone, like, and I'll put it like this. Coming out of Wesley Snipes and potentially Mahershala Ali's mouth, a lot of Blade's dialogue will sound cool. Yeah. Coming out of Sticky Fingers' mouth, a lot of Blade's dialogue sounds corny.
Hey, shout out Sticky Fingers. I still mess with you, bro. That's him who's in there.
Anyways, and Jamie Foxx can sometimes make a corny line sound cool, and sometimes he can't. So yeah, that's my only misgiving about that. But yeah, Blade, tremendous announcement. But to go back, it's still on Marvel's Comic-Con. Let's step back before we go any further on the major announcements, because there's at least two more. Yeah. The first announcement that they announces. I just want to say. I just wanted to keep saying announce. The first thing they revealed at the Marvel Comic-Con panel was the Eternals being and their cast, and there's a lot of names to it. The most notable is Selma Hayek.
Shout out Selma. I ain't seen her in too much. Whoa!
Selma has said some pretty fugazi things to black women recently. So I'm not gonna all the way go Selma. But most importantly, Angelina Jolie is in the movie. This is her first superhero role in a superhero. She was video game character Lara Croft back in the Disney.
Hey, that new Maleficent trailer looked good.
It does. A lot of people hating on it. I think it looks.
She looked like she was born to play Maleficent. Her face and how they did it. Shout out Maleficent 1 and 2, man. Go see the new Maleficent. It looks like it's gonna be good.
Right, and she signed on. She spoke very highly on the role. For those who don't know, the Eternals are
a movie I'm not gonna see. Just playing.
Am I? The Eternals are essentially these precursor aliens in the Marvel Universe that essentially more or less exist to be Marvel's answer to the new gods of DC's lore. They both were created by Jack Kirby, the king. Shout out to Jack Kirby. Mm-hmm. And they're supposed to.
That's it. No, we don't have any more about the Eternals.
I mean, they said a lot without really saying too much.
Exactly. My take on the Eternals is just as much as yours, Kyung-Ju. I don't really see any reason for me to see the movie. I'm gonna see it because gotta keep up current. But as far as my excitement, if you want to be 100% honest, it's about at a 1% right now. My like I was saying before, the most exciting thing I'm excited about is probably Blade, and we're gonna talk about that other movie in a couple seconds because the implications of that movie is
not
ridiculous.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the same thing. The only one I probably will see it once I get confirmation that a certain thing probably was revealed in the post-credits. No, a certain thing involving something we're going to talk about later on. But, yeah. But the next thing, jumping from movies to the Disney Plus series, is that they then talked about The Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it has been confirmed that while it's called The Falcon and Winter Soldier, that Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson will not be the Falcon. He will be indeed Captain America. He's confirmed that he did a fitting for the suit, and he will most certainly have the shield. And just revealed today,
is he gonna fly?
Just revealed today. Yes, he's gonna fly.
Oh,
but that's what he did in the comics too. But it's going to focus around the United States government not wanting Sam Wilson to be Captain America, aka they don't want a black man to be Captain America. And
I don't want a black man.
And they confirmed that it will be having some racial overtones.
Oh my god!
Which I'm not gonna say Marvel's gonna do a good job or not, but I will say I do find it very interesting that they're going to take that leap to address something that, well, obviously something that's going to get brought up, and it was brought up when it was done in the comics. It's going to get brought up when the show comes out, and it's to see that they're going to have real life implications with that. Shows Marvel trying to do a step in a realistic approach that I wasn't expecting to do.
Bro, let me just be 100. Everybody who's watching, let me know in the comments. Shout out, just disclaimer. Anthony Mackie, I mess with you. You're a great actor. Loved you in 8 Mile. Loved you in the Marvel series. You're a good supporting character, man. One of my favorite roles that really just took me for a loop was just in your recent Black Mirror episode. Keep doing you. I'm not taking nothing from you. Great actor, but man, if the new Falcon in this Marvel MCU was not one of the lamest characters that we've ever seen, most bland, most boring, I don't know what is, and to see him take up the moniker of Captain America off of the heels of an amazing Chris Evans, I'm just like, why? I don't want this. And then we got Bucky, who was a way more dynamic character, way more interesting character, that also has been Captain America and donned the shield and the moniker, is being just himself. It's ridiculous. I'm lost.
And again, to go back to what was revealed today, Sebastian Stan, who plays Bucky Winter Soldier in the MCU, he said he doesn't want to be Bucky to get the shield because he hasn't felt like his redemption arc necessitates
English
necessitates, and I knew that too, but my brain wasn't working correctly just then. Necessitates him being Captain America. He feels like he has to redeem himself even more before he feels he's worthy, and that's why he's giving it to letting Sam do it, because Sam has proved himself worthy when back in Winter Soldier, even though his personality wasn't all of that, he was literally, when Cap said, yo man, turns out Nazis have taken over the security world and we need to stop them. He didn't question or anything. He just jumped right into it and helped Cap.
The best scene this guy has had was literally in Infinity War when Captain America, Black Widow, and Falcon came out to save Vision and Wanda. Like, that's it. Like, literally there is nothing else I can honestly say. And in Endgame, on your left. But that's because we knew everybody was coming back. Like,
yeah. But I will say that's probably maybe the show will flesh his character out more.
Hopefully, man.
Yes, and it'll be interesting. And also, before I forget, Baron Zemo from Civil War, the main bad guy. He will be the main bad guy in the show.
Give him better justice as Zemo.
Yes, and he will don his iconic mask, so that's something to look forward to as well. So it's definitely interesting. So.
Before we get to the big movie.
Oh no, I'm saving that for last. So.
Yeah, okay. You're gonna talk. I guess we could talk about them 10 rings.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Shang-Chi, great minds think alike.
Yes, for the first time in Marvel history, probably even DC's history. I have to look that up, but definitely Marvel's history. An Asian character will star in his very own superhero movie, Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings. Shang-Chi, for those who don't know, is the Marvel Universe's most prolific fighter. When he was created back in the day...
They say that about every hero. But Iron Fist is the most prolific.
But no,
Panther,
but he's supposed to be the canonically actual best dude. But going back in the 70s, history lesson time one. This will be quick.
Yeah.
Back in the day in the 70s, Marvel had this boom of characters that they created that was meant to fit a motif that was with certain demographics at the time. So Shang-Chi was meant to be the Bruce Lee analog. Luke Cage was meant to be the blaxploitation analog, and Iron Fist was meant to be the Chuck Norris analog, and other things. Punisher and Nick Fury were meant to be the Clint Eastwood analog, and so on and so forth. So Shang-Chi, he's the world's greatest fighter. He's supposed to be he has developed superpowers later on in his career, but just starting off, he's just a bad mofo who he ain't supposed to mess with. And his movie will focus on him taking on the Mandarin.
Woo! The real Mandarin.
Yes, because in this,
not Gillian Mandarin from Iron Man 3.
Yeah, and this is kind of a point of contention for me personally, because for those who don't know or do know but kind of let it slip your minds, the Mandarin is Iron Man's number one villain. He's the Magneto, the Doctor Doom of Iron Man's rogues gallery. And he was completely wasted as a concept in Iron Man 3. Very much weighed the movie down, among other things. And Marvel did promise in their own series of other media that the actual Mandarin was out there. So to see him show up in Shang-Chi, while I would have very much preferred him to break the curse of Iron Man villains and be a compelling foil that Tony Stark could have fought with, over a course of some years, him showing up in Shang-Chi isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's definitely kind of a thing for me. Q?
I'm actually very excited. For anybody that's talked to me about the Iron Man trilogy, Iron Man 3 is definitely my least favorite because of the simple fact that the Mandarin twist was a red herring. The Mandarin was a red herring. Actually was a fake actor, British actor. And then it was actually Gillian who claimed to be the Mandarin, which was horrible. I hated it. For the most part, I love the Iron Man trilogy except for that simple fact. But now that we're getting an actual Mandarin, is almost fitting because Shang-Chi is an Asian descent character, which kind of a minor spoiler if you don't know about Shang-Chi, which they're probably going to take the route of the movie. And actually, in the original comics, Fu Manchu is Shang-Chi's father, who is his main villain as well. So I'm pretty sure they're going to take that route with Shang-Chi, making the Mandarin his actual father, which ties him into the Ten Rings as well as ties him to Mandarin. So,
yes.
But with that being said, I think this Mandarin is going to be totally way better than the Mandarin that we got. I think they're gonna overhaul it because of the red herring that they gave us in Iron Man 3. So I'm really excited to see what they do with Shang-Chi. Not really excited for Shang-Chi as much because I feel like he's more of a Netflix-esque, like Netflix series character. He does karate. Unless they implement him deeper into the Ten Rings aspect. But I would love to see where they take him, and definitely more excited for the Mandarin. I think the Mandarin can be a breakout villain if they do it right.
Yes, and before I forget, the actor playing Shang-Chi is an actor by the name of Simu Lima. He basically got the role 2 weeks before Comic-Con even happened. He was on Marvel's radar for a while now. Aquafina, the comedian Aquafina, she will be in the movie as well, among others. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. And even though I can see it on Netflix, it'll be interesting how they take this concept and make a blockbuster out of it, and if they're going to really go all out with the action. So once again, it's kind of going to go back and forth. We're going back to the Disney streaming service, and we're going to talk about the second marquee show, which is WandaVision, which will follow Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch, and the Vision as they try to rebuild their lives post-Endgame, post-Infinity War.
Which, spoiler, Vision is in a mind reality created by Scarlet Witch. So
they confirmed it?
I thought they did. We'll do some research on that because unless they get a whole new Vision, but how will she create Vision without the Mind Stone?
Well, there's been in the comics that there's been a recreated Vision who lost all of his emotions towards anybody.
Yeah, I remember.
And that's
an emotionless Vision, but I don't see how she would deal.
I think that might start it off, and then it might lead to your scenario.
Okay.
I'm being completely honest. But yeah, they had Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany come out and talk about the series minorly because there's not a lot of things that they can talk about because it will probably get spoilerific to the next thing. But beforehand, Q, what are your thoughts on WandaVision?
I'm really happy to see WandaVision. Like all these Disney extended shows, as far as like Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, God of Mischief, and WandaVision. They're not on my top list to see, but I would love to see how they're implemented into the bigger grand scheme of things. I'm like I've said before, I'm definitely a fan of expanding universes and stuff calling back and recreating or reenacting with other mediums. So I would love to see how they interact with this new MCU that we got. So I'm just ready to see what they do. The WandaVision is probably the most one I'm excited for because it's dealing with coming off the heels of another movie that we're going to talk about.
Well, not coming off the heels, but it will lead into the next movie, which is Doctor.
Gone ahead.
Which one?
No, you said
Doctor Strange and the Madness of the Multiverse.
Oh, I thought you were going to hit it with the. I was going to hit it with the. Yes, this movie, man.
So yes, not a lot has been talked about plot-wise, but the gist of it is going to focus on Doctor Strange going throughout the multiverse to solve some sort of major crisis. The villain Nightmare, not to be confused with the Soul Calibur villain, but the Master of the Dream World is going to be the main antagonist. And Scarlet Witch will be the secondary character in the movie. She will be the companion character to Doctor Strange.
And this movie is said to be the scariest movie in the MCU ever.
Which I'm not going to put that much stock into.
Yeah, exactly.
But the events of WandaVision will lead into what happens in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So that'll be interesting. Like I've said previously in other places, Doctor Strange wasn't necessarily my favorite movie, but Doctor Strange was one of my favorite characters in Infinity War and Endgame. So I'll be very much enthused to see how they take a character who's very much had his stock up in the last two times we've seen him, and how they will apply it for his own solo outing, as well as see what Scarlet Witch can do. Q?
Dude, I don't know how to tell you. I'm so excited for this movie. I am holding on to the last little gleam, the last little hope that one of these movies is going to introduce a multiverse in a way that I feel fit. I want them to interact with other versions. What I've heard, I don't know if this is confirmed yet, but Doctor Strange will actually meet a more akin to the original version of Nick Fury in this one of these multiverses. So, with that being said, it's so many things you can do with this. And there would be no reason that this movie is titled this way, named this way, for them to just throw it off to the side. Now, with Mysterio, it's Mysterio. We get that he could have been lying the whole time. I get that. Which he was. Spoiler alert for people who haven't seen it for the last month. So we knew that was a possibility. But with this, Doctor Strange is being thrown completely into actual multiverses. So there's a chance of him seeing other versions of himself. There's a chance of him seeing other versions of characters. There's a chance of seeing, not to mention that that Disney has acquired the rights to these Fox characters, so he could see alternate versions of the same character that's supposed to be these characters. You feel me?
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna quick fire through the last couple of the mid
on out of here
before we get to the last three big things. So we're gonna quick fire the rest of these announcements. So let's get it on. So the next thing is, as the aforementioned Loki series, which was confirmed to be following the Loki that escaped with the Tesseract in the 2012 in the Avengers part of the time heist in Endgame. So it's going to be focusing on him and what he's going to be doing with the Tesseract and himself. Q, what are your thoughts on the premise of this?
Not too much, because this is definitely not on my high tier list, because this is a Loki who hasn't experienced all the things that the Loki that had ended up becoming an anti-hero had experienced. So this is still a prematurely mischievous, more akin to evil Loki, I believe they're gonna go with. I was really more fond of the Loki who has learned from the errors of his mistakes, learning that Thor really was a brother to him, and Odin really did care about him in his own crazy, messed up way, and that he could be a hero, he could be better. Like, I'm always akin to the hero characters at heart. You know, I like certain anti-heroes, but I'm more akin to being more heroic, so I definitely felt like that character development in him was way more interesting to see moving forward than this Loki who's kind of like erased that whole saga.
Okay, and I agree. I'm for the same reason you said. Next up, the next announcements was the animated series What If, which will be narrated by The Watcher, narrated by Jeffrey Wright, who, if you've seen The Hunger Games, Westworld, you know who this is. He'll be playing The Watcher, and he'll basically be doing what if scenarios in the MCU.
Is he Uatu, or he's The Watcher?
The Watcher. They didn't explicitly name him as Uatu, but he will be narrating certain what if scenarios in the MCU, and they've touted it that a lot of your favorite actors will be voicing their characters in this animated series. Q, what are your thoughts on this project?
I always love what ifs. One of the, I think, coolest what ifs is actually coming out, which is the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. I would love to see a lot more high budget A-list movies doing what ifs. That'll give a lot of people more chances to have. I know they don't want to oversaturate the medium with what ifs, but that would give a lot of people more chances to maybe prove their chops and start maybe their own franchises in these different spanning universes. But I'm definitely gonna tune into what ifs, because I definitely feel like there's a lot more stories that they could tell with these characters that might not be as memorable as the major storyline, but could be really good just for conversation and starting off points on what if this character did this and vice versa. But I'm definitely going to look into it.
I agree as well. And the last thing we're going to talk about in the quickfire is the last series that they announced, which was Hawkeye, which will follow Clint as he trains a new Hawkeye, which is, for those who don't know, Kate Bishop, who's in the comics. And it will not only focus on that aspect, but also focus on the repercussions of his actions as Ronin in Avengers Endgame. Jeremy Renner will be returning as Hawkeye. They have yet to cast Kate Bishop for the show, but that's the main premise of that show. So Q, What are your thoughts and feelings on this?
First off, I did not know Jeremy Renner was a singer. I didn't know that man who had his own band. Shout out Jeremy Renner and his band. The man singing. The man got them chops. But I would rather seen him. I know this is kind of counterproductive to Endgame, but I definitely would have rather saw Ronin show. He was turned as Ronin. Ronin was a beast. But
a whole lot of people of color. Not a single minute. And then
he got one scene.
He killed, wiped out.
It was the Yakuza
in Japan. And they could have said, "Oh, he killed the KKK."
The Mexican drug cartel and the Yakuza.
We don't know if that's actually true or not. We're just taking his word for it.
Anyway, I definitely would like to saw Ronin's show, but so I'm mad.
The only thing that will make me excited for this project is they cast my girl from Roxy from Power Rangers Beast Morphers. There's a lot of fan movement behind her for her to placate this. So she has a nice martial arts background, and she has credentials being in Power Rangers. She's one of the many bright spots in Beast Morphers as the villain is Roxy. So that'll definitely be something I would love to see, and I would probably be even more hyped for it if that does happen. And so that's it for the lightning round. So now we're going to focus on what can be classified as the main events for the Marvel San Diego Comic-Con panel. So with that being said,
let's get ready to rumble!
First things first. We got good old band Hannah Mjolnir up here, so it's only fitting we kick it off. They confirmed that Takia Waititi.
Whoa, come on!
So let me keep it objective.
Awesome.
Let's keep it unbiased and objective. Takia Waititi will be returning to the director's chair to direct Thor: Love and Thunder, the fourth Thor movie.
Hold on, let's pause that. I saw something. Takia Waititi had some satire Hitler movie out.
I don't know.
It got Scarlett Johansson in it.
I don't know enough about that.
It's supposed to be a satire on the Holocaust kids. You know, the ones who were the children of Hitler. You know the
oh, you talking about the Hitler youth?
Yeah, and it's a satire on that whole aspect of life. Like, whoa, like Takia Waititi, huh? Mm-hmm. I think they're making Hitler look like a idiot.
I believe that's the case as well.
But why do we need that?
I don't know. But that's a tangent for another day and another time. But yes, Thor: Love and Thunder. It is confirmed that it will take place before Guardians 3 because Thor has been rumored to show up in Guardians 3. And
I thought they took him out.
No, Thor will be still in Guardians 3.
Let's go.
But this movie will take place beforehand.
Oh, that's cool.
And most importantly, Natalie Portman will return to the series for the first time since Thor: The Dark World, and she
was in Endgame.
No, I'm talking about the Thor movie specifically. Yeah. But she will be like her comic book counterpart Once Upon a Time did, take up the mantle as Thor. And my initial thoughts on it is twofold. One, I don't trust Taika Waititi with this story.
Oh.
I alluded to it last week, but I don't trust him with the story because the story in and of itself really was a great concept, totally should have happened, but was executed in a manner that was lackadaisical, not really trying to actually make it a focal point of what was being told, but rather rely on the strength of ignorant trolls disavowing the idea rather than making the idea strong. And basically the fan base had to do that while the writers kind of just coached it. And I don't trust Taika Waititi to do this because he's shown me that he doesn't know how to write Thor as Thor, but rather as a parody of Thor. I said that Thor Ragnarok. I've said that Thor Ragnarok isn't a Thor movie, but rather it's not a good Thor movie, but rather a movie for people who don't like Thor and want their reassurance confirmed that Thor was lame, but now he's cool because he's being a parody of himself. So I only shudder to think, even though he did a lot of pandering to Natalie Portman, giving the illusion that he might take her aspect of the story seriously, handing her Mjolnir and whatnot and everything, but I don't trust him to properly do it. I don't, because there's a lot of personal aspects, introspectual things about the story that goes above and beyond just is she worthy or not, but a lot of personal stuff between her and Thor, and more importantly, her, that I feel should take precedence. But being that it's him, it's gonna be joke fest, nothing taken seriously. Every time it looks like it's gonna be something serious, which it should, it's gonna be derailed, and it's not cool. It's not gonna be cool. It'll probably be funny, but that's about it. But it'll be a soulless, substanceless movie.
I'm definitely opposed to what you are saying. I'm 100% behind this movie. I think Chris Hemsworth has cemented himself as Thor. It's been funny. If you want to go, deep in Infinity War, when that man was talking about what he lost, everything he lost.
Did Takia direct that movie?
No, but it was still deep. You could be deep.
But notice how I didn't mention any of those other things. I was explicitly on Takia.
I loved Ragnarok. I thought Ragnarok was really good. It's as good as a Thor movie can be, because Taika Waititi has probably kind of made Thor a one-dimensional character. I get that, but I think he's seen all the other outlets, and coming off of the heels of these other movies, I think he's competent enough to get where Thor is going, where Thor is headed.
Quick things first, it's ironic we're talking about Thor because his number one fan just hopped in. Shout outs to Big Boom, Vince Lewis coming in.
What up, boys? Shout out. Hey, y'all tune in. Go to YouTube. Type in Illinois Vino. That man got some fire tracks.
Fire.
If you love a type of rap that you're not getting with all these young guys, all this mumbling, all this, you can't understand what he's saying. You love lyricism.
Yes.
And making you feel what he's talking about. Y'all go watch him, man.
Yeah.
Go listen to him.
And also,
Vino.
And also, he got something coming soon called Into the QUNIVERSE. Coming soon.
I don't think he got that coming out. That's kind of copyright to what we got going on.
We're not gonna sue the man.
Anyway, Illinois Vino, y'all go tune into him, man. That man's tracks is fire for all my up north people and down south who like that old school hip hop type swag, lyricism, real spit, real 100. Y'all follow him, man.
Yo.
Okay, back to what you were saying, bro.
No, it
was me saying.
Yeah, you was like, you're going on about what you liked about it.
I'm definitely a fan. Ready to see what you guys got going, what them guys got going on. Taika Waititi hasn't done me any wrong with any other Thors.
He only directed the one.
Yeah, I didn't like Thor 2. Dang, I guess I only liked one Thor. Whoa, after I thought about it, I had to only think. I guess I only liked one Thor. So Thor Ragnarok. If you keeping it like that, Waititi, we good. I guess.
And another thing I want to get into, and this is a quick thing before we go into the second of the three things. How is it going to work? Because last we saw Mjolnir, it was destroyed. The Mjolnir Cap had, he took it back to the proper timeline to reset it. And Stormbreaker isn't reliant on worthiness, because as we saw in Endgame, Thanos had it and was using it, and Cap had it for like that 2 seconds.
We're gonna get a MacGuffin, bro.
And it's like, I know it's not gonna be no conflict, because for those who don't know, in the comic run when Jane was Thor, it was a mystery. At first, we didn't know at all who the female Thor was, and then when we did, no one else outside of a couple of characters, and especially not Thor, knew who she was.
Especially because the Jane in that comic run had cancer, and most of the time they played it off like Thor was going to see her, where it was kind of off-putting, like how could she be Thor and then still have this
going through cancer and whatnot. And plus Thor was considered unworthy through BS that I'm not going to get into. Shout outs to Big Boom!
Ragnarok was not trash. Ragnarok was the truth. Now, I'm just talking about on the Thor parts in the comedy. Of course, as far as the Hulk and them trying to condense World War Hulk and Planet Hulk and all that was garbage. 100%.
But shout outs to Boom for agreeing with me. But another thing is Thor was unworthy. He couldn't lift Mjolnir. Jane was worthy. And it's just a lot of convoluted stuff that really doesn't make sense, but could have been done better. But the most important thing was a matter of worthiness and Thor having to come to grips with it.
Yeah.
With Thor having Stormbreaker, and if they somehow rebuild Mjolnir, and Thor clearly was worthy at Endgame, where he did that. Yeah. Is there even going to be a conflict between that, or is it just going to simply be?
Of course it's gonna be Hanson. gonna be no type of conflict on hammers. We're gonna get Jane Foster, gets me annoyed some magical way Stormbreaker stores hammer. It's just gonna be like that. They're gonna fight probably in like the second scene of the movie, like,
and then they're gonna be just bopping it up, fighting things. Which,
I wonder who's gonna be the main villain. Have they said yet?
Me. Boycotting the movie.
It's Meek.
No, me boycotting the movie. Yeah, I just brought that up. Boom. Vince. He said, "I'm wondering, will they have Thor become unworthy?" Well, we know
when they whisper in his ear, they were right, and
but then they were like, not even going to get into all of that. But yeah, I'm not excited for it. Q is. We'll see who's right when it drops in 2021.
So let's move on
to the second thing, which is Black Widow movie. It's confirmed that this movie will take place before the events of Infinity War and Endgame. More explicitly, almost immediately after the events of Civil War. It will focus on the events of the often brought up Budapest. And it will lead into Yelena Belova, who's the second generation Black Widow, becoming the full-fledged Black Widow. Yeah. Scarlett Johansson will reprise her role, and it's confirmed that Taskmaster, my boy, will be the main villain of the film.
Oh, and I just said that will they whisper in Thor's ear, he was right, and then he drops the hammer.
I sincerely doubt it, and if they do, it'll be played for laughs with no emotional weight to it. But yeah, this Black Widow movie, going back to Black Widow, it's a long time coming, probably too long at this point. Folks have been wanting her to have a film for as early as her appearance in Iron Man 2, her very first appearance, and I'd say the apex of that feeling was right at Winter Soldier, where she was in Winter Soldier, but through a lot of things, some through her characterization after Winter Soldier, mostly because Scarlett Johansson can't keep her foot out of her mouth saying ignorant things, which have maybe...
Oh, that has kind of died down, though,
no,
since she said
it hasn't.
You know, I guess Twitter, but you know Twitter has become a...
No.
But not really. I get it.
She definitely put her foot in her mouth one too many times where people aren't very much capable, moving heaven and earth to see her. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this movie goes. I'm excited to see Taskmaster. For those Stranger Things fans,
y'all don't let me speak on that.
Okay, I'll let you speak on that part. But Yelena Belova coming in to be the next Black Widow, that should be interesting as well. Also showing what happened in Budapest. And they kind of teased Hawkeye might be in the movie, and
because of Budapest.
They after that, but they teased that he might show up. They teased, and then they said that he might not. Who knows? But they've been very hush hush about Black Widow. They said that there was some footage shown at Comic-Con that they might show at D23 this month, which is the Disney convention specifically about Disney property. So we'll see, but it'll be interesting to see how this movie shakes out. Q, your thoughts?
I am more and more getting hype about the movie. I'm not hyped because obviously we know, for spoilers, Black Widow is dead. She died in Endgame, but for me to want to see her come back, that's my own little personal plight. But I'm starting to get hyped. Taskmaster is the main villain, so I'm hyped about that. Taskmaster is one of the coolest villains in the Marvel Universe as far on a lower level. He can copy anybody's abilities. I think that's one of the coolest
fighting abilities.
Yeah, fighting abilities. By watching it, just seeing it for the first time. But for all my Stranger Things fan, because he ain't even seen it, David Harbour, aka Hellboy, aka Hopper, Sheriff Hopper, is playing Alexei the Red Guardian, the Russian counterpart to Captain America. And my only thing I want to see is that he dons the Red Guardian suit and actually fights as the Red Guardian. That is also hype.
Let's take a look at these comments. Q, you want to read them off?
Someone got a crush on Black Widow. Nah, bro. Scarlett. Oh, let me not say this. Shout out to Scarlett Johansson. She's a very attractive one. I ain't gonna do her like that. It's ScarJo. You can't be mad at her, man.
Yeah. And going back to Boom, I don't think they're gonna make it rated R. It's very much seems like in line with. I think it'll be the same level of seriousness, hopefully, that the Winter Soldier was, and that'll be a very good thing to see. And I hope it's dope. It has the potential to be, but like I said, it's all relying on if Scarlett Johansson says any more stupid things that if people run
and it definitely has to. The only way I can see this movie being good is it has to be choreographed on par with Winter Soldier.
Yes,
it has to be either better than Winter Soldier or on par with Winter Soldier. If it's not choreographed to a T, if it has too much exposition, it's gonna be trash.
Yes.
It has to. We got too many great characters, too many great actors. Taskmaster is a fighting prodigy. There can't be too much CGI with this movie. It has to be a lot of choreographed action scenes. From what they said on the leaked trailer, now we don't talk too much about leaks, but they did say that the scene that they saw when Black Widow was fighting her successor, the younger Black Widow, that it was almost like the Bourne movies, and the Bourne movies are known for great choreographed fight scenes. So if that's any inclination, yes.
But yes, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's focus on the number one thing. And that is, and this had, good thing we didn't talk about this last week because a lot more information has come out. But the number one movie thing of the Comic-Con wasn't that Black Panther 2 was confirmed to be coming out soon. Wasn't that Captain Marvel 2 was going to come out soon. Definitely wasn't Guardians 3 coming out soon. But that in Phase 5 is confirmed, not Phase 4, but Phase 5, because everything we just got done mentioning is Phase 4, including the television shows on the Disney streaming service. That's all the equivalent of Phase 4. But everything in Phase 5 is Captain Marvel 2, Black Panther 2,
yes,
Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Spider-Man 3,
yes.
Fantastic Four.
We know Fantastic Four, yeah.
And the main event!
Yes, the
gosh dang X-Men!
For
Confirmed!
the third time.
Second, but
no, third. We got the 2002, we got the First Class, and this will be the third.
That's all one thing. That's all meant to be one thing.
I don't know why they would say that.
Well, no, they could. I ain't got a problem with it.
I get it.
But yes, it is confirmed that is the slate for Phase 5. The biggest phase Marvel has put out probably since Phase 2. And yes, while we have Black Panther 2, which is guaranteed to make $1 billion, I don't care what anyone says. And yes, while we have Captain Marvel 2 that hopefully can improve upon her character in leaps and bounds. And yes, while we have Spider-Man 3 and Guardians 3, which has a lot of things to answer for between Endgame and Spider-Man Far From Home. The clear and present things that are going to be most in most people's watch list, must watch, is the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. Because no matter what anyone says about previous incarnations, those things vary except for Fan 4 Stick, which is universally garbage. But no matter what your opinion is on what Fox did with the X-Men in the earlier Fantastic Four movies, everyone wants to see what Marvel's and Kevin Feige can do with these characters.
Yes.
More importantly, the X-Men. The Fantastic Four, people give them a large berth because so long as they allude to Silver Surfer and Galactus, that movie can be Ant-Man quality and people will say it's the best thing so long as they allude to that. But more specifically the X-Men, because the X-Men, moving forward, will be the Avengers franchise for the MCU. It will be the standard bearer, the gold standard, the protected franchise, and it'll probably, and if y'all thought Marvel had a stranglehold on the game this past 10 years, if they get the X-Men right with this, they're not letting it go. They're not going to let it go.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you can get an infinitely amount more mileage out of the X-Men than you could with the Avengers, and we got a lot of mileage out of the Avengers. The Avengers had one major arc that was good. The X-Men has at least 5. With characters that everyone loves, that they want to see, and they want to see done in a way that they haven't seen done before.
I still feel like it's not just going to be X-Men. I still feel like it's going to be a culmination of other characters in the MCU sprinkled in with the X-Men, because I don't feel like we got all these new characters in Phase 4 that we're just going to throw to the side, and the X-Men have their own little...
Well, I'll put it to you like this.
Hold on. Yeah, Ant-Man was definitely decent. And I liked Ant-Man in all the movies I saw him in.
Yeah,
in game and all that.
Yeah, but look, in the worst case scenario, if Shang-Chi bombs, if Captain Marvel 2 bombs, if the Eternals, when the Eternals bomb, and all of these other movies don't, start getting into people's minds as being fatigued.
It's all about the X-Men.
The X-Men will save the day, like they always do. Yeah. The X-Men always saves Marvel's ass when something goes sideways. It never fails because they're the X-Men. And regardless of how much people love the Avengers over the past 10 years, the people will love the X-Men forever. Yeah. And all they need to do is cast people that look the part and cast and say they're going to do things that people want to see and deliver on that, which Marvel has a very good chance of doing in some one way or another, and they're not letting go. It's over with. Yes, they're not going to focus solely on the X-Men because you got, like I said, you have Galactus in your pocket. You have rebuilding the Avengers in your pocket if it gets to that. You have all of these other cool things that can happen, but it'll come down to the X-Men more so than anything else. I believe that that's the future of Marvel. If in the worst case, regardless of
that was the Inhuman.
Regardless of anything that happens, the X-Men is the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And before going any further, I read House of X. Phenomenal start to this new era.
What about Powers of X? That ain't came out yet?
That comes out this week.
Oh, okay.
House of X is a phenomenal start to this new run. I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm not going to spoil anything about it because you need to, if you're interested in that, you need to read it yourself.
It's a good revamp of the series.
Yes.
For people who just get into X-Men, you don't need to know anything prior.
No, you do. You absolutely.
Not necessarily.
You add.
If you want to get, it's a good starting off point. If you just want to start with this iteration of the X-Men, you could. It's for people who haven't read X-Men.
Well, I'll put it like this: a lot of you will be very much more served if you know all of the seminal moments in the X-Men history. I'll say that much.
For a person who just want to jump in head first, I think it's a good starting off point. They have exposition, they have story, and it's like its own starting off point from where the X-Men are now. I think you can.
I agree with that point, but yeah, a House of X would be dope, but I don't see that happening for some.
Man, I know, right?
They're gonna have. I doubt they'll kick off like that. I sincerely doubt.
I think they're gonna be dealing. I think we're gonna see Mr. Sinister this go around.
Oh yeah, I 100%.
I think we're gonna see Mr. Sinister. We haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, but continue on your point. How do you feel about that?
Just closing it out. I'm as hyped for the X-Men as anybody, but I'm just trying to fill out what they're doing with the MCU right now. I'm really more ready for Fantastic Four. Like I keep saying, I want John Krasinski and Emily Blunt to be Sue Storm and Mr. Fantastic. If I get that, I'll be good. X-Men, excuse me. If you guys seen Kingsman, the guy who plays Eggsy. What's his first? I keep forgetting his first name, but Egerton. His last name is Egerton, right?
John Egerton.
Yeah, John Egerton, who plays Eggsy. It's a lot of fan art and concept art of him playing Wolverine, and he's also a shorter guy, so I could see him playing more akin to the actual Wolverine.
I have my own thoughts on how they should introduce X-Men, but that would be too long. We'd be there 2 hours now. So,
but other than that, I'm definitely very ready for it. I'm ready to see it. I'm ready to dive into a new X-Men mythos and mythology and how the MCU takes it, because you guys know that the MCU is known for its comedic style, more lighthearted, and the X-Men has been pretty dark for these last couple iterations. Like, not really funny, not really light. Like, it was
Dark Phoenix is like, I'd say Logan and Dark Phoenix were the only two real dark ones. I'll say that
Days of Future Past was pretty dark.
I mean, the future, the desolate future, absolutely. But the 70s had a lot of good comedic moments. It was, and before, just a quick
First Class, friggin' Sebastian Shaw killed half the team in the second act.
Yeah, but that's focusing on one thing. I think my biggest thing I want to get across about saying something is too dark or too light is things are going to have to be serious in a superhero movie to accurately display the stakes, but that doesn't mean you overlook the funny moments.
Oh no, I agree.
The training montage in First Class, the whole sequence at the beginning of Logan going back to the 70s.
Get started with how Havoc was back then, and he's Cyclops' little brother.
Well, that's the comics and the movies. His older brother. But things can change, like you mentioned. Things change, and it's cool to have these directors have the card. But back to the major thing, I could see the people being Fantastic Four, and specifically wanting to see the Fantastic Four done right first, because people can argue that the X-Men already was done right to an extent, but the Fantastic Four might need a little bit more of a retooling. Yeah. So I can see that. But all in all, if y'all haven't gotten it already, I'm an X-Men stan till the day I die.
Man, that's guys. We both X-Men fan, but he's definitely.
So anytime I think the X-Men are about to go on ahead and if you smell and come out like the Rock and electrify the crowd, I'm already all for it. So that's just my way of thinking. So
with that being said,
any final thoughts in general?
Final thoughts? Not really. We talked about a lot today. We got a lot covered. Like I always say, man, just a nice time to be alive in this special nerdverse. We're doing this is going on. It's doing a lot. Any final thoughts on your end?
Just like I said, we're in a beautiful spot in nerd culture right now. People think that because things like the X-Men Fox movies and the current run of MCU movies that they're done, the Arrow's gonna be done, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are about to be done, all of these stuff that's been in the zeitgeist for the past 10 years or so, that they're winding down. They think that nerd is not winding down, y'all. We're getting new stuff. We're getting new ideas, and some of the nerd stuff that's kind of taking a backseat now have an opportunity to come to the forefront. So just continue enjoying what you want to enjoy, and just watching stuff that's interesting you, watching new stuff that you probably wouldn't have watched before, but you're going to get a chance now. Just keep doing you, keep enjoying this stuff. It's only going to get better, and if it gets bad, try to focus on the good stuff. So that's all I can say.
So with that being said,
where can they find us one more again?
Hold on. After you know how we always gotta send it on out, man. Gotta thug it on out. This is Into the QUNIVERSE with your boy QMG, and they can find us at Into the QUNIVERSE on YouTube. You can type that in on YouTube, and they'll pull up all our videos. Like, share, subscribe, as well as Geeked Up Media on Facebook. Go to that page as well as my own personal Quentin Ziegler on Facebook.
You can follow me on the gram at QuamonStar, and you can follow me on the Twitters at QuamonStarG, and you can follow the official Into the QUNIVERSE Twitter account at iQUNIVERSE.
So for all my geeks and gamers, like we always say, much peace and love and respect. You guys keep tuning in, my geeks and gamers. And this was Into the QUNIVERSE, and now we are signing on out.
Good night and good luck.